What? What are you doing staring in the mouth of a bear rug, audience? That's very precarious of you. I mean, you're just a little iPhone. You could be crushed. So this will be my second lazy vlog in the history of lazy vlogs for me. And we've got a pretty interesting topic up on our hands today. We've got wealth. And this one comes from a request of our friends out in North Dakota. So last week I was at Washington Leadership Conference, and a lot of really cool people were out there. And surprisingly enough, they all listened to what I had to say. I mean, like, all of it. And that's pretty darn rare. I mean, it's hard to get my friends to listen to all of that. But anyways, it's a theory on wealth. I call it the origin of wealth and its application in aid. Now, it basically is in my opinion, the root decision of everyone's political decisions, right? So you can trace all of those political decisions back to this decision on where they fall on wealth. Now, I'd like to caution you, it's not true wealth. It's how someone perceives, how they perceive an individual garnishing their own wealth. Now, the first side of this theory is the limited pool theorists. Now, they perceive someone getting their wealth as this giant magical bowl of dollars, and everyone has to dip their hands in the bowl to get out their income, right? So instead of wait, hold on. I can't. Lazy vlogs. Can't edit videos. That's always not fun. But anyways, they although they see that bowl grows, and that you still have to work to dip your hands into the bowl of dollars, they see that if, say, someone like Bill Gates reaches in and takes out $1 billion, then that's $1 billion that someone else cannot have, right? So they perceive money you earning as money that someone else cannot earn because of that limited pool of wealth. Now, the other side of this, if you haven't guessed already, is the wealth creationists, or the unlimited pool theorists. Now, they believe that wealth is unlimited. They believe that you convert resources into wealth on demand, right? So they believe that wealth is unlimited, right? So the issue there is in resources. Unfortunately, resources here on Earth are limited. And because of that, that's how the limited pool theorists go and they justify their theory, is we see that resources are limited, so therefore wealth has just got to be limited as well. I mean, there can only be so much of it. I mean, we do get ahead, we do make progress and grow, but I mean, there's a limited pool there. But the unlimited pool theorists take a vastly different approach to resources. They, because of that unlimited pool, because they believe you convert resources into wealth on demand, that would seem in the mind of an average person that wealth has also got to be limited then. But they view resources differently in that they see that since the beginning of humanity, we've been using resources more and more efficiently. The example I like to use for this one is land. In the 1800s, we could only support 1 billion people on this earth because God wasn't making any more land, and we were only using it so well. But nowadays, we've got 6 billion people on the face of this planet, and it looks like the sky is the limit. because we're using that resource in land more efficiently. So, not only that, but they take more views to resources than just that. It's a more comprehensive view, right? So, not only do they see we're using resources more efficiently than we are also using things that were previously unthought of as a resource, and yeah, we're using things that were previously unthought of as a resource. The example I like to use here is the liquid fluoride thorium reactor. Now, this is a vlog topic for another day. It's also pretty darn heavy, but it basically allows you to get energy at a very inexpensive cost. The forecast is 3 cents a kilowatt hour, and because of that, you can go and do things like ammonia production. You can basically say, hey, we're going to produce anhydrous ammonia. And what that is you take nitrogen out of the atmosphere, and then you also take some hydrogen, which you made from splitting water with your electricity, and then you combine that to produce NH3, anhydrous ammonia. So, what you've done there is you've used fuel and energy, or no, not fuel, you've used air and water, two resources that are unlimited in the scope of humanity. You can use salt water, by the way, you don't have to use scarce fresh water. You use unlimited resources in the scope of humanity to produce something that's widely used as fertilizer today in the world. All right? So, but what's really cool is because you use thorium energy, which, mind you, is also unlimited in the scope of humanity, because you use thorium energy and it's such an inexpensive source of energy, you can actually start burning anhydrous ammonia as fuel in an internal combustion engine. So what you've done is you've taken air and you've turned it into fuel, which is pretty spectacular in my opinion. So you just produced fuel from resources that are just unlimited in the scope of humanity. And on top of that, there's one more way in which the wealth creationists also go and justify a unlimited pool of wealth, and that is that a service which is using the resource of your labor can go and help you create your own wealth. Now, that's how they justify it, but they also view wealth in a radically different way once it's been created. They see that anyone's wealth creation is not detrimental to anyone else's creation of wealth, right? And unless you're in competition for resources, which in which it would be detrimental, unless you're in competition for resources, any one person's creation of wealth is in fact helpful to anyone else's creation of wealth. It's an economy and the circulation of dollars, right? So there are the two sides, the limited pool theorists and the wealth creationists, and why they believe what they believe. So it leads these two sides, this theory, this inherent decision, it leads these two sides to radically different approaches to things like aid and solving poverty. So the limited pool theorists, they go and they try to solve poverty as, we'll use an example here. There's a starving village in Africa. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do about that starving village? They would tend to say, hey, we're going to pack up some boxes of food and we're going to send it over there, right? I mean, that sounds perfectly logical. There's a starving community, let's feed them. But this is, this is, the wealth creationists would take a radically different approach to this, right? Because those limited pool theorists are like, well, there's only so much wealth in the world, we might as well just send them what they need. We might as well just give them a handout, because money that we have, money that we've earned, is money that they cannot have. So this food is just like a leveling of the playing field. Now, the unlimited wealth theorists, or the wealth creationists, as I like to say, they go and they say, hey, why don't we send them the tools that they need to create their own wealth? Now, most of the time here in America, that manifests itself in the form of an education. Let's give someone an education, and that will be the tools that they need to go and create their own wealth, right? But the example of a starving village in Africa, they would see a radically different approach. They would probably say, hey, we got a starving village, why don't we go over there, let's drill a well that would support a couple of agricultural fields, and then let's send a guy over there as well, and give them the knowledge to use that well to overcome, say, their droughts, which it's Africa. It's a dry place. So let's give them the tool that they need, and then they go out and create their own wealth from the resources they have, right? So it roughly breaks down to a hand up versus a hand out, right? I mean, when I first came up with the base theory on this, the origin of wealth, it was pretty spectacular to me, because, I mean, beforehand, I knew what I believed and why I believed it, and what the other side believed and why they believed it, but it was lacking that base decision behind it, right? It was lacking that the true base justification for it. So that's the theory on wealth and its application in aid. It just roughly breaks down to giving a man a fish or teaching a man to fish. And so I hope you guys really liked that. I know it's getting to be a long video here. We're at like almost 13 minutes. But I think most of you will be able to handle it. If you've already gotten to this point, then just count it down as a victory, because you stayed in there for the long haul. So that's my theory on wealth and its application in aid. If you guys have any questions or any expansions upon this theory, just post it down in the comments. And I don't have anyone at all to back this up at all. Nothing. I just came up with this all on my own. I'm probably not the first one to do it, though. There's probably someone else out there that's already come up with this and written down somewhere. But let me catch my breath there. Whew. But yeah, so have a nice week, day, month, and it's going to be an excellent year, I think. And you North Dakotians, or whatever you say, out there, I hope you enjoyed this. And outro of darkness, then redness, then whiteness. All right. That worked pretty well. Got a smudge. Yeah, if you got any questions or expansions upon this, just post it down in the comments. And I'd love to hear back from you all. So, have a nice day. See ya.